you find, like, so for example, some might say, well, Jesus is all about grace, and the God of the Old Testament is about judgment. Well, that's not quite true at all. Jesus actually speaks about hell more than any single figure we have in the Bible, which is very fascinating. Yes, he's all about grace, but he does talk about justice and judgment as well. Same for, Yahweh in the Old Testament. He speaks about grace, steadfast love is one of the most repeated words throughout the entire Old Testament. Um, Judgment is talked about for sure. Justice is talked about, but far less than judgment or than grace and mercy. For example, in Exodus, I believe in chapter 34, when God is communicating who he is to Moses, he says his name, Yahweh, Yahweh, just repeats it twice just because that's a way of saying authority. But
Yeah.
and then he says, I'm a God of steadfast love, of grace and forgiveness and boundless love, right? Basically, that he's going to give to thousands of generations. Whereas he is going to hold some accountable to the third and fourth generation. There's a lot that can be said to what he's saying there, but I think at a minimum, what he's saying is he's slow to anger, he abounds in steadfast love, and he applies that uh, a thousandfold more than what people deserve, justice and judgment. Basically saying, I'm more merciful than I am judgmental. I'm more gracious than I am anything else. And that's the Old Testament. That's Yahweh, right?